Good morning, everybody. It is December 13, Friday the 13th. Apparently, it's the last Friday the 13th until June. So hopefully we'll have good luck today, maybe. I don't know. This is Change the Shed. It is a Friday edition for an extra Change the Shed in December. I am happy you all are here from all over the place. If you haven't been to Change the Shed before, I just do this. I've been doing it since the pandemic started, so it will be 5 years in March. And just want to encourage everyone to do some weaving and to have some fun with Tapestry. So I am working on a holiday weave along right now. You're welcome to join me. Many of you have joined me, and I'll show you a couple pictures of people who have woven some things. Barbara's here from San Diego, and Margareta from Sweden. Margaret's here from Scotland, and Leslie from Alberta. Michelle is in Florida right now, this month. Julia's from Germany. I'm sorry I'm not going to hit everybody's thing today. There's just so many of you tuning in. I'm happy you all are here. Welcome Lou from Kansas. Frantically weaving some small tapestry gifts for her daughters. That's a wonderful Christmas gift for sure. Catherine's here from North Wales. Metta's here from Denmark. Dab is here from Montana. Sturgeon Bay. Hi, Sandy. Glad you're here. Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, the home of Mirex Manufacturing. So it's fun to see you here, Sandy. Brenda's here from Pennsylvania. Corrine from the UK. Susan's here from Pittsburgh. Laura from Massachusetts. Victoria's here from California. Heather, Massachusetts. Gundrun's here from Iceland. Hooray. I was thinking how cloudy it is today out, and then I was like, oh yeah, it's probably much darker in Iceland. So I visited Iceland a few years ago. It's a wonderful place. Dave is here from Northeast England. Judy's here from BC, Canada. I'm glad you're all tuning in today. Thank you for coming. And I just wanted to show you a couple things. We're doing this weave along thing, which is fun. I chose winter trees again. I know I've done that before, but just trying to steer clear of a lot of religious imagery, but you are so welcome to weave anything that's important to you this time of year. I think it's really fun to pick the symbols that are important and weave small things about them. And they make great gifts or tree ornaments or something like that. I will be back on December 18, which is next Wednesday, just a few days from now, to do the final Change the Shed for this year. Then I'll be taking the last couple weeks of the month off to do my own weaving. And if you're interested in helping support Change the Shed, there's a donation button on my website, which is tapestryweaving.com. Under online learning, it says Change the Shed. And there's also under this video on YouTube, there's a link. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel while you're here. It really actually helps the channel a lot if you just hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're still subscribed. If you think you are, maybe you are not. And I have online classes if you need a gift for somebody for the holidays, or if you just want to think about weaving in the new year. It's kind of fun to find a tapestry friend and do an online class together. So that would be a fun thing to do. I also wrote this book for those of you who are new and don't know me. The Art of Tapestry Weaving came out in November of 2020, so it is 4 years old now. But I have really enjoyed watching this book all over the world. Anyway, I hope you like it. You can get copies from me in my shop if you want a signed copy for a holiday present. Otherwise, you can just get it from anywhere books are sold. That is my announcement list for today. I hope that you're just enjoying whatever tapestry weaving you are doing these days. Bethany, happy birthday. Bethany's in Iowa. It's her birthday, and I took the day off work so I can weave. What a perfect thing to do. Happy, happy birthday. Jessica's here from Illinois, and Susan from Kansas, and Za's here from Iowa, and Lori from Vermont. Welcome, everybody. So let me show you a couple of the things that y'all have been sending me. So if you weave something and you want me to add it to my blog post from November 29, I like to collect things. Anybody else a collector of things? I like to collect images of things people are weaving. It's so fun to see them. So if you want me to include your image, you can go to the blog posts that are linked. And if you subscribe to my newsletter, I just sent one, and you can just reply to that and send me your picture. So here's just a couple that people have sent me. This is from Patricia. Just a really cool range of different things people are doing. This one is from Nell Gronveld. Isn't that, the little gnome is so adorable. And then the Christmas tree that changes colors, or the holiday, whatever, the little outdoor tree that gets lighter near the top is wonderful. Meta sent this one, which is just a lovely outdoor. It makes me think of snow. I hope it snows here, but I don't think it's supposed to. Kathleen sent this wonderful pick and pick tree. If you are in the Tapestry Discovery Box right now, we're doing pick and pick, so this was really fun to see. Thanks, Kathleen. Karen, oops, sorry, I hit the wrong button. Karen Hartwell sent this beautiful picture of an outdoor winter scene with a landscape. What fun. Karen, I love this one, that the tree is off of the edge of the picture. I thought that was a wonderful way to do it. And this beautiful fat singles yarn. So beautiful, Karen. I really appreciated seeing this one. Jeffin sent me this. Look at this cool tree with the shading and some pick and pick in there in the landscape. It just looks like it was really fun to weave. Jackie, this is such a happy little, another one with pick and pick in it, but such a happy holiday sort of tree. Hilly said she was doing 15 of these for her holiday cards. I'm so impressed, Hilly. This is just beautiful. Lots of different things to play with. Christine, I love this sort of hatched way of making the tree. Beautiful. There's just a couple more here, you guys. Anita, lovely. Just a completely different approach using stripes with dots of colors. Actually sort of a half pass or pick and pick thing as well. Alita sent this lovely image with this interesting yarn she was using to make these decorations. I just thought those were all really fun. So I hope none of you mind that I shared them there. They're also on my blog. So I hope y'all are making some things and or weaving something. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be holiday things. It doesn't have to be this weave along, but I just want to encourage you to have some fun. Oh, thank you. MK Haskell says if you don't have Rebecca's book, you should, or M. Haskell, you should consider getting it. It's a fantastic reference and the perfect companion to her warp and weft classes. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I've actually had a bunch of people finish their warp and weft class this week, which is getting to the end of that class is it's a lot of work. And I think I should send like a cake to people who finish it. I'm really proud of all of you who have finished that class this week. Some of you are here. And I think there were 2 or 3 people who got to the very end this week and sent me their final project. And that was really fun to see. So if you're interested in learning all of the tapestry techniques, that class is the one that really dives into depth. Margaret says she's doing a color wheel pick and pick tree as her advent weaving. Oh, that sounds really fun, Margaret. I'd love to see a picture of that when you're done. So yeah, and Michelle wanted the reminder about hashtags to use when posting to social media. The hashtag I'm looking for is this one, changetheshed. I've had more trouble on Instagram actually finding the images using that hashtag. Maybe just so many people have used it, or maybe nobody's using it. But I'm not seeing anyone on Instagram using that hashtag for any winter tree. So test it out, please. If you put a picture on your Instagram page and you use change the shed. I'm going to be checking that hashtag, so I'll see if I can find them. All right, everyone. You all are having some fun with yarn. Okay, so I'm going back to, this is the little tree that I showed you in November. Oh, look, it's doing things that, let's see. Oh, you know, I shifted how I was doing things when I did an interview, and I may not be able to get this to do the thing I want, which is put the little tiny box in. All right, well, this is what I'm working on again. And then the other one, I actually intended to have this one finished this week, and it is not done. But this one, I'm just going to finish up with the hatching, and the tree is going to be sort of at the very edge there. That was a holiday tree plus ornament kind of thing. And this little guy was the one I started on, I think, the 13th of November. And it is just a simple little tree. I'd actually like to do another one of these with hatching instead of the points, sort of like a few of you did in the pictures that I just showed. Anyway, that's a lot of blah, blah, blah. I am just creating this little tree. It only has, I think I'll just have these two colors of the, oh, I might go to the lightest one at the top. This is just a raised forest color, which is a real blue-green, which is a nice color for sort of outdoor pine trees. We have a lot of spruce trees in Colorado, and so they're very blue, or firs. All right, so then I've built up this little point. Now I need to fill in. And one of the things I wanted to work on today is the colors here. So last you saw this piece, I think I had a black line in here and this was white. And I just didn't like that you couldn't see the shift in color. So I've gone to, this is the Array Sapphire, and it's not my favorite blue for a sky. So I'm going to, this is the Sapphire. I think I'm going to mix it in. I started mixing it in with some of this eggplant that you can see here. And I'm just going to play with that and possibly using a little bit of indigo, which when you're doing weft bundling, you can sort of shift the color by using, by bundling it with something else. So that is what we will attempt to do to sort of turn this sapphire blue into something that I like a little bit better. Thanks, Sherry. Sherry says she's taken all of my classes and they're all great. I appreciate that. There are people here who have been taking my classes since the very first class opened in the spring of 2014. So I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you all for sticking around and putting up with me for all those years. I appreciate that. Ooh, Paula says she's from Northumberland, UK, looking forward to going to see the Murmuration exhibition tomorrow. Oh, I'm so jealous, Paula. If you don't know about the Murmuration collaboration, it's something to, I think if you just Google it, you'll find it, but you also maybe could find more information on the Nearly Wild Weaving website. And it's just a amazing tapestry that a group of people, 13 people, I'm not sure how many, designed and wove this very large tapestry in panels, and it's shaped. It's beautiful. So, I hope that any of you in the UK who can go to see it, it's in a couple of venues. I think I just opened in a new venue. Anyway, Google around and find it. There's also a Substack about it. So if you are on Substack or you want to, I think it's free. I mean, you can read it for free. Find out more about it by reading those posts. Okay. What am I going to do here? Michelle wants to know the dimensions of this loom. That is a good question, Michelle. It is, so I think this bottom piece is 8 inches, and by the time I put the elbows and the pipes on it, the loom is about, from edge to edge, about not a little over 9 inches wide. So remember when you're making a copper pipe loom that you need space on the sides because the tapestry is sitting right inside the pipe. It's very annoying, at least I find it very annoying, if the tapestry goes all the way over to the edge. So err on the side of making your loom wider. The uprights are each, let's see, this looks like 7 and 2 7s, and then I've got a big threaded rod. So right now this loom I think is, sorry. The whole loom is about 18, 19, about 20, 21 inches long, which is a really nice length. And this is a fringeless for selvage warp. And if you're interested in hearing more about that, I did a talk with Sarah Sweat on December 2nd, which is also right here on this YouTube channel. You might want to watch that. It was a lot of fun. Let's see, how are we going to do these colors? I need to build this up so I can bring this green across again. And I also need to start the colors on that side because we weave from bottom to top. I need to fill in before I can bring this other green over. I figured out, I saw the button that I needed. Okay. Let's do, this is Sapphire 5. I think I could go to Sapphire 4 without a jarring change. Looks like this is a new cone. That's the word for this, a cone. Let's do this. Here is 2 of the eggplant. I'm sorry, I'm just muttering away, trying to figure out what colors to put in here to make this look more interesting than just a solid. If this were a different color, I probably would have been fine with it being solid, but let's start with 2 of these sapphires and 1 of the, let's make the eggplant one darker too. This is eggplant 6. Let's find eggplant 5. Okay. My goal from here on out is just to make the sky a little more interesting than it might be if it was just a solid color. But if playing with colors like this is not quite what you're ready for, then just weave something that's all the same color. Okay, so here's a shedding problem. So I'm looking at the shed here, and this green is going this way. I need the shed, I need meet and separate so that the shedding works when I fill in along here. But because I put this split weft in, it shifted the shed. Also, I realized I used the other color. I think that will be okay though. So one thing I often do is use the tails just to shift the shed. It's just going to bring these blue tails back to the middle, and that will shift the shed back. And then I should be able to do my meet and separate. So now if I look at the shed, yeah, that's correct. This is the shed I want. And Michelle, that's great. We talked about jig anxiety in the, okay, I actually can't put this in yet because this is going to need to go over the top, but I know I'm going to go this way with the green and this way with the blue. So let's do that. And actually, if this is easier, sometimes it's easier to see. If you just start on the edge, that will anchor it. It does put a tail on the edge, so that might not be the best choice for everybody. Or you can do a like self-splice or something right there. And now I can fill this in, and I know that the shedding will be correct once we get the other green working. Michelle says she has jig anxiety, which is something I talked about with Sarah Sweat about the fringeless class. This is a fringeless for salvage warp. And so she's going to start with a loom, and when that works, we'll return to the local hardware store for the next supplies. Michelle, what I should have said is this is a loom size. The length of this loom is the same, but see how it's a couple inches wider? This is a size I would recommend. So let me just actually tell you that. The bottom beam here is 10 inches wide. You can see where it goes into the, oh, you can't see that. Right here, it goes into the copper pipe, 10 inches. So the bottom is 10 instead of 8. And then the side supports on this one are a little bit longer. They're 10 and 8, I think. The loom, you know, you can adjust where the threaded rod is. So I recommend, as you're making your fringeless warp, fringeless loom, Michelle, go with 10 inches wide on the copper pipe. For pieces that are within, you know, like 5 or 6 inches wide or less. If you want to do pieces bigger than that, go with even a little bit wider loom, maybe, just so you have that extra on the side. Okay, you can really tell that this is darker than that, can't you? We're just going to go with it and see what happens. I like the eggplant in here too. Wind Therapy said the eggplant looks good in there. It just shifts the blue, the sapphire blue, which I guess is kind of a sky blue. It's just a little, there's something about it, I don't know. I love the indigo. This is just Array's indigo, and there's the sapphire. I feel like there needs to be another blue that's kind of somewhere in between those two. All right. So now with my hatching ways, I may add another. I'm going to shift this color on the edge. Michelle, you can do it. Michelle says, I've gazed longingly at the components and pipe cutter gizmo in the store, so it's about time I dive in and buy. So ask at the store about the copper pipe. Copper pipe comes in thick. If you look at the end of the pipe, there's a kind that has thicker walls and a kind that has thinner walls. If the loom is small like this, it doesn't matter which one you get. If you're going to make a bigger pipe loom, you want the one that has thicker walls. And someone at the hardware store will probably be able to tell you right away what that is that that you really need. Okay. it was this eggplant. In terms of, yeah, that's not important if the loom is small. And I actually don't know which type this pipe is. I'm gonna put in another butterfly here with 2 of the eggplant and 1 of the sapphire. Let's see what happens. Oh, good. Laura said a couple of episodes ago, she was asking about ways to find, in Tapestry, it's always this thing where we want all the colors, but it can be really expensive. If you bought all the colors that Array has, it would be many, many hundreds of dollars. And so finding bunches of smaller put-ups of colors can be really helpful especially if you're weaving small things. And so embroidery materials, some of them are horrible for tapestry, but a lot of them are not. And so she said she found some pepper pot silk 3-ply in her stash even. That's a win. Sorry about that. So that's awesome, Laura. Very cool. Yeah, there's also wool embroidery floss out there, and then there's embroidery wools like Appleton Crewel, or that's a great one because it comes in lots of colors. Patternayan is another one, which is now sold as colonial needle. So you see what I did here? I brought this one over. This shed is open, if you can see that, and then this one comes to meet it. And this just is a different color. So I don't super like that I now have 2 tails on the edge there, but we're gonna go with it. I'm gonna do a little bit of hatching between these 2 bundled wefts. I'm just sort of winging these points at this point. Let's see. My drawing of the tree was super rough, and now I'm just like, how does this need to go? This seems a little bit long. It doesn't matter. Trees are organic. That's what we call things that are a little bit imprecise, right? Organic. I don't know if I'm gonna like this eggplant or not, but it's a pretty color, and it does really shift the feel of that blue. So I guess that's what I'm going for. Maybe at the top I'll use this indigo mixed in. I think that would be really pretty. I really love playing with color in tapestry and weft bundling. And I would encourage all of you not to be afraid of that. If you're ready to weave with thinner yarns, like this array, which I have 3 strands at once, it can be a lot of fun to see what happens when you mix colors. If you like a more graphic style with solid colors, you can use like a fat single or a worsted weight yarn and just have at it with graphic colors being solid colors, and you can make some amazing tapestries without any weft bundling at all. I think you should try both though. Oh, great question. Alita says, can you use glue on the pipe loom, or do you have to solder it? You can absolutely use glue. I would use some kind of super glue. I've used Gorilla Glue, which is a super glue we have in the United States. All the hardware stores have it. This particular loom was soldered. You can tell because I'm not a very good solderer. And this might be the very first loom I ever made. Made quite a mess. If you solder well, the soldering joints won't break, which is great. But man, super glue works fine. I did one of my retreats. We made looms and we just used glue because I was not going to have people soldering at a retreat. And it was so much fun. I have had looms that I've glued where the joints will break. The glue will break. And that's fine. All you have to do is just finish your piece. It won't affect the piece. The loom might move a little bit, but it should be fine. And then when you get the piece off the loom, remember to pull it apart, clean out the glue, and put new glue in. And all will be well. Let's see. Let's do this. I'm wondering also about, yeah, I might shift this color. I was originally going to have this hatched. One of your examples, I think maybe it was Jeffin's example here. Yeah, see how beautiful this is, the tree with the hatching and the two colors. I had an idea sort of like that for this. I was going to do one side lighter than the other, and then I ended up doing this sort of more simple, shifting the color as you go northward. And either thing, I think, will work fine, but I suppose I could, that might be fun, add a lighter color here. Let's add one of this and, oh boy, is this the one? Forest 2, yeah. I actually do often make notes on more complicated pieces of what colors I'm using because it can be easy to grab the wrong one. So what if I did this? So we've come in this way. So I have, oops, hold on. Oh, I'll hold the phone. So right here, see that float? I just couldn't figure out why the shedding wasn't working here. Let's get this out of the way. Because I made a float right there in the front. Y'all probably saw it happen. Now we can do this. So here's my shed. And if I want to add this new color in Meet and Separate, which I do because I want it to hatch together here, I can add this in here. But now, of course, I have screwed up my shedding. Yeah, Judy saw it. Good job, Judy. Cool. Summer, it was good to see you. Glad you could stop by. I know Summer is probably working today. So, and many of you have said that you're either on your lunch break or you're taking the day off. All right. So I'm gonna basically do a little crepeau there so that my shedding here should work. And I'm going to drop that color out and go with this. So that should give me Meet and Separate between those two. We'll see whether that actually worked or not. Let's go all the way to here. Ooh, let's just do this. So I'd also like to drop out this color in the middle, which of course also messes up your Meet and Separate. I don't want to bring that out there again, so I think that's okay. let's see about, so here's what I was mumbling about there a second ago. If I do this, say I'm gonna just end that, what's gonna happen is if I bring this over, it will be in the same shed as this. So those two are now in the same shed going in the same direction, which is going to cause me trouble because I don't want, I could fudge it for a while and the top of this tree isn't very far up. I could just make that whatever, make it work out. But it will be best if I reset that weft and probably, well, here's a question too. When I'm at a point like this, I'm like, maybe I should change the color. That was eggplant. I can't tell if that's 5 or 6. It must be 5. Kind of like the blue in there. Here's eggplant 4. Let's go 4, 5, and keep the blue. Ooh, I could go to a darker blue though. Was that sapphire? Yes, so that was sapphire 4. Do I have sapphire 3? Yes. This might be too big a jump in value. We'll see. Okay. So this I ended right there, and to fix my shedding problem, I'm going to start this new weft on the edge. So basically I just started the weft in the other direction. Oh, that's going to be quite a bit darker. All right, did I make a little point right there? I did. I kind of obscured it a little bit here. I'm gonna, this pigtail that I did, I'm gonna take that out. I think this will show better if I do that. Yeah. Okay. All right, everyone. Yes, Maureen wants to know, can I talk a little bit about how you have the loom resting as you work? Is it flat at an angle? And do you use a support? Yes, that's a great question. So as far as this goes, I'm just going to keep weaving this little tree and keep changing the colors and play with the background colors. And next Wednesday, hopefully I'll have this done and maybe a new tree thing going on. Let me zoom out and see if this is let's just see if I can show you this without dropping my camera. So there is what I'm using to support the loom. Let's see if I zoom out even more. So that is a set of yoga blocks. And there's the whole loom. And let me show you. These are those foam yoga blocks, which I probably got at like Target or something. I like the foam ones because they don't slip. I also have some wooden ones that I have to put like a grippy thing over to keep it from sliding. So I actually like to use those blocks a lot for these long looms. Otherwise, I will sit like a chair with a back and and rest the loom up against a table is another way to do it. Or a lot of people like those easels. So a box easel is another thing. It clamps, or you set it on the table, and then where the canvas would go, you can put your loom and tilt it and slide it up and down. Yeah, that's what Judy just said too. So if you like to work at the edge of a table, the easel's a great thing because it tilts and can slide so that as you're working up a loom like this, so like on a Murex where you might advance the warp if it's not fringeless to keep the weaving close to your body, if you're weaving something bigger and you're reaching way up here, it can be hard on your back. So that easel that Judy is mentioning as well means it can slide forward and tilt, and maybe it's a better ergonomic solution. Oh, and Judy says hers is a floor easel. So that's another great option. There's lots of, if you go to if you have an art supply store that serves painters, you will find that there are lots of different kinds of easels. Becky asked, is there a reason why the warp is so much longer than the fringeless section? So the whole idea of fringeless, this is where I'm weaving. This is how big the piece is. And this is, the free amount of warp is about, it's actually only about 13 inches. I like to have all of that warp, Becky, because that's the whole point of this, is that it's very easy to manipulate. When you are weaving, say that the warp was cut off right here, it's much harder to weave. That's why really short looms are very hard to weave on. They're fun, I use them all the time. But a short loom just is more difficult and causes more trouble in the weaving. And so that's the beauty of the fringeless warp, is that it is easy to manipulate. It's long, you can pick it up, and you have an open shed for the whole way. So that is the whole idea there. In general, I have a whole blog post. If you just Google Rebecca Mezoff, loom length, I think is what you should Google. There's a blog post with a video about why I like long looms and some different kinds of looms that, yeah. Marla says, the pillow pad, triangular pillow from Target's great. There's a lot of things that people use to hold smaller looms, probably smaller than this one, but that hold iPads. So some of those people are successful with. Anyway, or like if you're using a saffron loom, not a saffron, a Chloe loom, the stand that Murex has for the Chloe loom, which is this one. So this is the Chloe loom. So there's a stand that goes, it's just a piece of metal that goes into the back of this loom and sits on a table. And then these little rubber stoppers keep it from sliding. It actually works really well. So I recommend that if you're using a Chloe loom and you don't have the stand. The stand on that loom works very well. Okay, all the ways to hold your looms. Small looms can be awkward. I used to be an occupational therapist, so watch your body mechanics. If you find your neck is hurting or something else is hurting, just pay attention and figure out a different way to set yourself up and take a lot of breaks. Because I don't want you all hurting yourself when you're weaving. All right. Any other questions I was going to say? I hope that y'all are having a good December, and I will be back next Wednesday with more fun little tapestries. I actually really, after seeing Nell's gnome, I really want to weave another gnome. This was so fun, so we'll see what happens. Chances are good I will run out of time, and that will not be one of my projects this year. But if those of you who like gnomes, weave one yourself. Jessica asked, I have a regular height Murex Big Sister loom. I have everything I need to make. I don't know what SV tall means, Jessica. How long does the threaded rod need to be? Sorry, Jessica, is that a typo? I'm not sure what that means. The Big Sister loom by Merex is one of their most popular looms for good reason. It's a great size loom. Is it 16? I think it's 16 inches wide. I think it weaves to 13 inches. And, oh, you have the tall version of the Merex Big Sister. Okay, that's what you mean. So remember, on all of the Merex looms and any of these copper pipe looms, you have to have the threaded rod and the copper overlapping by a good amount. On the Merex looms, they recommend, I think now they recommend 3.5 inches, maybe. Pipe up, Sandy, if I'm wrong. I always make sure I have at least 3 inches when I set it up. I try to go 3.5 or 4. But loom length, I always try to also maximize my loom length. Now, the Big Sister loom is already fairly tall, so I don't think I even own a Big Sister tall loom because the regular loom is tall enough for what I need. It's a great proportioned loom. So the tall would be good for fringeless. If that's what you have, Jessica, you can totally use it for that. The advantage of the tall loom for the Big Sister is that you can put a lot more warp on it. So, and the shedding device can come down lower. If you put warp extenders on that loom, you're reaching a lot higher to change the shed. So the tall loom would be an advantage in that case over using warp extenders. It's a great loom for fringeless, Jessica, and just make sure that the overlap is good. Oh, Sandy says 4 inches. See, I thought that y'all had sort of changed it over time. Make sure you have 4. Thank you, Sandy. Make sure you have 4 inches. Pretend this is a Merex. Make sure you have 4 inches of overlap between where the threaded rod and the copper pipe comes over. Now, I just have one last thing before we go. Beaumont wanted to say Merry, Happy Holidays and Happy December. So he says, hey, everybody. Thanks for coming to change the shed. Oh, Sandy says now there's a black mark on the threaded rod. So look at if you've got a new Merex, that's awesome. That's a really great tip. I love to extend the Merex looms as long as they'll go. I think it's worth a little extra wasted warp. So look for that black mark, and I'm going to put a black mark on my older looms, Sandy. Thank you. That's really great. If you don't leave that 4 inches of overlap, you may forget and keep tightening, or if you put your warp on too loosely and then you tighten it a lot, the whole thing will just sort of explode, meaning it will just come apart. So you need that stability. Oh my gosh, look at this. This one put on her sweater. This is Salsicha. Okay, yeah, Alita asked, is there any more info on the next Tapestry box for January? I'm doing a box about hatching, and we're going to tackle both. I'm going to show people who are new how to do hatching, but we're going to focus on how to use hatching for shading and color gradation, and I'm going to be doing a whole project on regular hatching, which is also a really cool way of using just 2 colors to create forms and different sort of transparencies even. So yeah, that will be opening January 15. Cool. Oh yeah, this is Sal, and Bo says, hi, Marla. I hope y'all have some wonderful December, and I will see all of you in just a few days. If those of you who can come on Wednesday, otherwise, of course, we will be recorded. So I will see you on Wednesday for more weaving and questions and whatever other fun we're going to have. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. I'm so happy you're here. Sally says bye-bye. And she does not know what a computer is, so she is just gonna bark. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.